I keep giving bad people good ideas.
Hello guys, welcome to today's video. Today's video we're going to be talking about, is technology getting better or is it getting worse? And it sounds like a really stupid fucking question, because obviously there is in a lot of ways that technology is obviously getting better and has gotten better over the past 20 years. We have seen a lot of advancements, if you want to talk about smartphones, computers, whatever the fuck. And pretty much, I'm not trying to go and be like, these companies are bad, they're unethical, they do these shady things, blah blah blah. And I could go all day and all night talking about that kind of stuff, and I'm not really trying to go down that rabbit hole in this video. And also, I'm not trying to be like that person that's like, oh, protest these companies, fuck them, blah blah blah. You do what you want to do. Majority of tech companies, if you don't know, you can't really escape it. A lot of the companies, how they get their batteries is obviously somebody has to go get the materials to make said batteries. So a lot of these companies will go to third world countries, and a lot of third world countries have like mines and shit, and they will buy the materials they need from said mines, and then build their batteries. Or sometimes they will just have another country or company in a different country pretty much make the batteries and then ship them over for fucking dirt cheap. Whatever the process is, pretty much there's always people kind of, you know how America runs. And again, I'm not saying like really shit, like bad shit too much on America's side, because there's only like so much America can do. Like, again, America's gonna need these resources and these products, and we are gonna buy off of someone. And how they get said products is kind of out of our hands, because it's not our country, not our people. So it's not really like we can be like, well, that's really fucked up. You can't be sending thousands of people into a mine and then paying them like one piece of bread. We can say it's fucked up, but we can't really go march over there and go change shit, because then that will just create wars and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of companies do go down that route, and that's not really like the point of the video. But you kind of like get that out of the way. But a lot of these companies, like, again, you think about it, like a lot of I feel like a good example is phones. So the phones, have seen a huge advancement in cell phones. Like fucking 10, 20 years ago, you were stuck on like a dial pad or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Well, you had to hit like the number 3 like 5 times for a certain letter and shit. Now we have touchscreen phones, and like it's crazy to think back in like 2006, 2008, they worked pretty well, but they didn't work as good as they do now. Like, we have that shit down to a touch too. Well, almost nowadays, it's almost weird not to have a touchscreen phone, and that a lot of the like sensors with the touchscreen and shit work really well. Like, I remember back in the day, sometimes those would be really glitchy or they would break or whatever the fuck. But now they have it down to a dime. But then those companies like Samsung and Apple, mainly Apple, that have kind of monopolized the fuck out of the fucking phone market. Like, it is almost like bad enough to, well, Samsung's kind of just lucky that they get to kind of coexist, because again, there always has to kind of be a second brand for other people to go to. And I feel like it's always gonna be like that, unless somebody completely monopolizes a certain area. But again, there's usually laws to stop that in America. Does it work all the time? 50-50, I'm not too sure. I'm not a business guy. I don't fucking know. But all I know is Samsung's kind of like the cheaper brand and Apple's the more expensive. Again, I'm not saying, oh, you buy a Samsung phone, now you're a cheap ass, or you don't have money, and just, you don't want to spend all your money on a stupid ass phone. Simple as that. That's like the only option really with Samsungs. But honestly, I have a Samsung. I enjoy it way more than having an Apple phone, and it was way cheaper. So again, it's also preference. But back to what I was saying. So with like the iPhone, when it first came out, you had the charging port, you had the aux port, like port for your headphones, and it was pretty much everything you needed. It was touchscreen, you could call people, download apps, cool. But then it's like cool because they updated it, and it was like around iPhone, like the iPhone 6, that was at like the peak. Well, you still had the headphone jack, you still had your charging port. They haven't pulled any of the weird shit yet, and it had all the great features that the newer iPhones had. The better camera. Again, I know an iPhone 6 camera is probably pretty dated nowadays, but I'm talking back in the day when I got mine. And it was pretty good, decently sized, because I know a lot of the a lot of the starting iPhones, like the iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, those were pretty small phones. So it was kind of nice because you kind of got a bigger screen, a bigger phone, and you still had the headphone jack, the charging jack, all that. But nowadays, with the newer iPhones, it's like you're paying the same amount or even more than you would for the old iPhones back in the day. And they're removing shit like headphone jacks. And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but then you think, like, it's kind of fucking stupid because a lot of headphones never really move. Like, they never really changed the headphone jack. There was, like, there are some headphones are kind of weird that because Apple did this change, that they turned the headphone jack from a normal headphone jack to the charging port so people could use the headphones on their phone. There's a few select people that have made headphones just for that, but majority of headphones, like headphones you use on your computer or whatever the fuck, still use a normal headphone jack. So it almost was kind of stupid as fuck to remove this headphone jack. And they obviously did it for money reasons and shit. And it just was kind of like stupid as fuck. And then a lot of people were like, well, it's not that big of a deal because wireless headphones are better. Oh, use wireless. And like technically you could just do that and get away with it. But I feel like it's really weird to update your phone and then think you updated it so much and you can't really add any more like crazy shit because you've made a bigger phone, you made a thinner phone, you made a faster phone. So at this point you're just like removing shit just to kind of like add to it, which is just really weird. And like that's kind of like shit I'm talking about. Well, it's just like I feel like sometimes with companies they get so like I would say greedy with the fact that like, hey, we have a monopoly on this thing right now. How can we monopolize even more? And it's just kind of crazy because it's like already a company like Apple is pretty big, or it's like not everyone's buying like a MacBook, but if you're going to school or something, people are buying MacBooks for that, and then like fucking no have like I've been saying have a huge monopolization on the fucking phone market, and they keep like it's just crazy to think they'll somehow still even more greed. Like I get it if like they're like, well, Samsung might come out with this, and I guess Samsung's a pretty good competitor to them, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I think if they left the headphone jack, I think they would have been better off. And also, I don't think it would have like really done anything to those sales. Like, I guess remove the headphone jack, so then people had to buy Pacific Apple headphones or some shit. I guess, and I guess they can monopolize that even more. And again, it's just kind of shitty when companies like do that because it's like almost to the point where it's like weird. You see companies come in and like, hey, please, we're starting, please help us, and you help them and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool, and then they're like, yeah, well, for the people, and then it gets to like a certain point where they make a whole bunch of money or a whole bunch of like business dudes get involved or some shit weird happens along the road while they're like in that boom era. And then they just become, like, every artificial fucking business ever, like, just robotic as fuck, just, like, doing weird shit, just kind of, like, I think, like, a good example, again, is, like, NVIDIA's new graphics cards. They released them, they're decent graphics cards, but if you compare them to, like, a 480, the 580 or whatever, I'm not the best with the names and shit, but the 500 series doesn't run. It runs a little bit better than the 400 series, but not by much. And a lot of the reasons why it runs better is because, like, this AI generation graphics thing that they built into the graphics card that only runs on some games that support this AI generation thing. And it's just like kind of dumb to see Nvidia go down that route, because it's like, I don't want AI generated bullshit graphics. I want like the graphics that are in the game, and I know it's like graphics from the game, but like, I want it, well, like my computer is actually generating those graphics, not just thinking, oh, I think this is it. Like, it's just, I know it helps, but then at the same time, like, I've heard a lot of bugs and issues with it. And then also with the new graphics card, it's like, I've heard of issues with people putting it in, or it's like people are melting the GPUs, or just melting the pins, and all this weird shit going on. And it just sounds like really stupid, because nowadays, it's like back in the day, you could get hyped when something came out and you're like, oh, dude, this is going to be awesome. And you buy it and it lasts you. But I feel like nowadays, when you buy something or something gets released, you have a 50-50 chance that it's going to break on you. Like most things, obviously, nothing's unbreakable. But I feel like nowadays, it's like, even buying video games, or buying a new console, or buying a new fucking keyboard or some shit, you do not want to pre-order that shit. You do not want to be the first person to buy that shit. You want to wait. Like, if it's a new fucking monitor, a new fucking PC, a new GPU, whatever the fuck, it's like some complex shit, like a new laptop, wait a year. Wait 1 year. Or like, I don't know, laptops are kind of different, but like, say something like a GPU is a good example. Wait 1 year to buy that GPU, because number one, prices will hopefully drop. Number two, they will hopefully fix all the issues and bugs that people are having, where it's like, oh, I plugged in my GPU and it's melting. Oh, it's having fitting issues. Whatever, it's this, that. And they work out all those issues that they should have worked out while they were testing said GPU before they put it on the market. But pretty much, it's like, I feel like a lot of companies are just quickly doing testing, or not really testing out the product fully, and just throwing it on the market, so then we have to test it, and then we have all these issues, and then we have to come back to them and be like, hey, fix our shit, whatever, give us a refund, whatever, And it's just kind of stupid and I feel like another good example is like games. Games, they like release like 50% of the game when you buy it for like $60-$70, and then they release rest of the game in like DLCs or all this like hidden paywall bullshit that you gotta pay through, which is kind of stupid as fuck. Like, I get it, they gotta make money, they gotta sell DLCs to make said money, but then it's like stupid, because a lot of games like Call of Duty, you get like half the game, and then the rest of the game is hidden under some stupid battle pass that you gotta buy, or like some stupid shit. Again, DLCs, I don't really care. I like DLCs. I think they're cool and a good way to make money for the developers. They get their money, you get extra content. But then it's like shitty when you see games like Call of Duty hide most of the stuff you can unlock, or all the cool stuff you can unlock in multiplayer, behind a stupid little battle pass thing. And I feel like ever since Fortnite came out with it, it's like every game has a battle pass. Even games that shouldn't really make sense to have a battle pass, they have a battle pass just to make that extra money. And again, I'm not saying anything too bad about that, but it is kind of annoying and stupid, because it's like, I do see where they're coming from, is if people are buying the battle pass, people don't have to buy DLCs, then they can release free maps and free content for people, yada yada. But then, I don't know, like, again, sometimes people just like, some companies get too greedy with it. Like, those are normal, it's like crazy with Call of Duty. I'll wrap this video up really quickly. Like with Call of Duty, they have the normal battle pass, and then when they have events, they have event battle passes, and event battle passes are maybe like 10, 20 levels, maybe 10 levels, and you're paying the same amount as the normal battle pass. And it's like, yeah, it's only $9, but $9 to like unlock 10 things or some shit is pretty fucking stupid. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of the time, like, I'm not saying every company is a piece of shit company or anything like that, or like, fuck, blah, 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 or fucking video, or fuck Sony, or any of that. A lot of their products are very good, and I see why they're on the market. I see why they're the top dogs and shit, but then I hate it when I see, like, sometimes it's not their fault, the shit just didn't work out, or it is like simple shit where it's like, hey guys, come on, if you just kind of tested your product a little bit more, or just spent a little bit more time on developing your game, it would have came out 10 times better. And it's just, I feel like a lot of companies nowadays are kind of just either getting too fucking greedy or ruins their product by removing certain features or putting like paywalls on shit that really don't need a paywall, or fucking just, I don't know, it's simply just doing stupid shit just to fuck up the product. If that's shitty advertising, if that's bad marketing, if that's just pretty much I think really at the end of the day, a lot of these companies know their marketing, they know their advertising, they know who they're advertising for, and I feel like at the end of the day, it's really just sometimes these companies get to a certain point where they just want to either pretty much just kind of like just monopolize it completely, and that's by removing certain features, so you have to buy certain products for said, like, phone to have headphones or whatever, or like with fucking certain products, I feel like they're sometimes rushed and not, like I said, just not tested. And like, oh, we could just have them tested, like a game that's coming out. I get it when developers are like, hey, we're doing play testing. That's cool. But it's like, don't release your game for $30 fucking dollars. Say it's done, but then it's still in beta or some shit. Like, at least let everyone know, hey, it's in beta, hey, we're still testing it. And a lot of games are usually pretty good about that, but then there are some games that do slip through the cracks. Or like, sorry, I'm so sniffly. Oh, those games like Call of Duty. Again, Call of Duty's fun. I do like Black Ops 6, but I do feel like when you do buy the game for like $60, $70, that you only get like 50% of the game, and then you have to buy all the rest of the game, like get that battle passes, skin packs, or whatever, and those skin packs are fucking ridiculous. You get like 2 skins for your guns, you get like an emblem, a calling card, and a player model for like $20 or $30. Like, god damn, like, they're like straight up robbing motherfuckers at the point. But pretty much, at the end of the day, I do feel like it's 50-50. Well, technology is getting a lot better, and I do enjoy it, but then at the same time, I do think it's getting a lot worse and a lot stupider, because then people are putting, like, paywalls on certain shit, or people are, like, removing certain features, so then you have to buy a certain product to have said feature, or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of stupid, because there was a lot of like plus sides of old technology that was really nice about having an old technology that I kind of wish the just kind of transferred to new old technology, like fucking audio jacks. Like, if it's a phone, if it's a device that has speakers that you could plug headphones into or have headphones for, it should have an audio jack. If it doesn't, it's fucking stupid. Even like the newer Samsungs don't even have an audio jack. And it's the weirdest shit ever, because it's just stupid, greedy phone companies being like, buy our special gay headphones so you can listen to music on your phone. And it's like, thanks, dude. And it's like nowadays, I know a lot of people who usually, like I said, just run wireless headphones or earbuds, so it's not really the end of the world. But it is kind of stupid, because then those headphones, instead of buying like a $20 pair of wired headphones, like, unless you get the like little special dongle piece, or it's like the charging port headphones I was talking about earlier. But even though then those are pretty hard to come by usually. So then, instead of buying those for like $10, $20, you have to go buy wireless headphones that can range from like $50 to $100, which again, at the end of the day, isn't the end of the world, but again, spending $100 on headphones isn't usually the best of fucking things and the funnest of things to have to do, but yeah, again, I feel like at the end of the day, it's a really strong 50-50, where it's like, it's really cool, because then we have cars like Teslas that have all these sensors and cameras and can do some pretty cool shit for a car, and it has some pretty cool technology for it just being a stupid little car. But then you have all these like stupid shit that people have came up with over the years that you're just kind of like, why? So it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like it's a strong 50-50 that technology is getting better and worse. And especially once you dive into the whole rabbit hole of AI, and I won't get into that in today's video because this video is already long enough. But once you dive into that rabbit hole, it's even crazier, because then there's a lot of plus sides of AI, and then a lot of crazy weird shit that can come with AI. And especially if you watch like movies like Terminator growing up, you kind of think like, oh yeah, AI's cool, but I don't know if it's the best of ideas. But yeah, pretty much I feel like it's a strong 50-50 that technology is getting better and worse. Like, I do really like old shit, like old consoles and stuff, and I realize why people collect them and why I collect them and shit like that. But then I do like new old shit, like my old PC can play, oh, well, my old PC, I mean my PC. Well, it's old to me, I've had it since like 2017. But it has like a 1080 Ti, it runs pretty good. It can run Black Ops 6, like newer games, but then what's really cool is since I have like Steam and shit, I can run games from the 360 and play like shit like The Last of Us from the PS3 and shit like that. So it's really cool and stuff like that. So again, it's a strong 50-50 for me. Comment down below what you guys think. Is technology getting better, or do you kind of just think it's getting worse and it's just a whole bunch of fancy shit that they're just plugging in and like, here you go. See you later and next year when we plug in more fancy shit to try to sell to your ass. But besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys. I ain't with the drama, you give me my llama, flying with 3 hearts.